Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. My name is Tonchi Prusak. I am your host for tonight's show. It's episode 25 and our 7th season, and this would be normally our last episode for the year, but this is one of the big news announcements that I was going to make earlier today, is that we are in fact going to come out for another episode. Thanks to all of our wonderful, wonderful members or Patreon sponsors, if you like. We have been able to, basically cover another episode, fund another episode. So to whoever has donated $5 a month or $20 a month or whatever the case may be over the course of the last 12 months, thank you sincerely. I'm not going to name names, obviously, but they do that out of the goodness of their heart, and fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. We really, really appreciate that. And all the information is down the bottom, how you can become a member of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast and directly support the show, the podcast show that supports your sport. Not too many avenues here in Geelong to really, on a weekly basis, publicise football. The Geelong Advertiser, which obviously I do a little bit of work there as well. That's about the only other thing. And, of course, social media. But this is your show, folks, the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We've been going for 7 seasons, and we'd like to think that what we do here and cover the local scene is exactly what the sport needs. There you go, www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show. Thank you so much to all of those people that have supported us this year. Because of you folk, and I'm talking directly to you people who are supporting the show, we are coming out for another episode. Tonight, it is the Geelong Region Division 1 Men's and Division 1 Women's Grand Final previews. Next week, of course, will be the Grand Final review show. And we've got another a huge, announcement as well to be made. But that is going to be made after this short break from our short advert sponsor, short word from our sponsor, our major sponsor, the Gordon. I'm so excited. The words are just not coming out tonight. Be with us in a sec.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Yes, it's time for the news desk. But before I go on, it's with absolute pleasure I can announce that we've got a new member of the team here at the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. He's going to be doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work and hopefully might even jump in front of the camera. But Lucas Conti is a young man, 22-year-old. He's a student of the Bachelor. He's doing his Bachelor of Screen Media at Victoria University. And on top of that, he's also a local footballer. He plays out at the Deakin Ducks. And he's come on board as of this week, and he's produced a little news report from the weekend just gone by.
There was plenty of finals action played over this past weekend, where starting off with the Div 1 Women's, Barwon came up against Deakin Ducks and won in extra time 2-1 with goals from Asabi Cummins in the second and 107th minute. Deakin Ducks' only goal was from Natalie Betts in the 73rd. Meanwhile, in the other Div 1 women's game, Surf Coast came up against Lara and defeated them 2-1 with goals from Kayla Witkowski in the 27th minute and Jordan Paul doubling their lead in the 60th minute. Lara's goal came from a penalty spot midway through the second half, but it wasn't enough, which means Surf Coast will be coming up against Barwon in the final this coming weekend. In other Saturday action, we saw Armstrong United come up against Leopold, and Armstrong came away with a 1-0 win, and Corio Bay narrowly defeating Golden Plains 5-4 on penalties, which means Armstrong United will come up against Corio Bay to battle it out for the Div 2 flag. Moving on to Sunday action, we saw the men's semi-finals being played. Starting off with the Div 1 semi-finals, we saw Bell Park come up against Surf Coast, and Bell Park came away with a 6-2 win. That game saw a hat-trick from Xander Milanovic, a brace from Alex Smith, and a singular goal from Shibanan Kanapathi, making up Bell Park's 6 goals. And Surf Coast 2 came from Joe Lawley and Ignacio Lopez Bazavilbaza. Meanwhile, in the other men's Div 1 semi-final, we saw Barwon come up against Golden Plains, and Golden Plains came away with a 2-0 win with goals from Harry and Max War, which means Golden Plains and Bell Park will meet each other in the final this coming weekend. Meanwhile, other action on Sunday saw the Div 2 men's finals being played, where the Deakin Ducks come up against Corio Bay and lost 1-0 to Corio Bay. And in the other semi-final, we saw Geelong Rangers come up against Drysdale, and Geelong Rangers came away with a 3-1 win. And last but not least, the men's Division 3 semi-finals was played, where Lara came up against Barwon and beat them 2-1, and Ballerine Sharks came up against Surf Coast and beat them 3-1. So the finals of the Div 3s will be Lara versus Ballerine Sharks.
And well done to Lucas on his first production there, a review of the weekend just gone by. Like I said, it's awesome to have Lucas Conti on board as a content producer in the background. Now, speaking of tonight's show, we have got an action-packed show. We will be catching up with all 4 of the coaches from all 4 of the grand finalists. We'll be speaking to Ivan Kovachev. He's the coach of the Barwon senior women's team, and they'll be coming up against Surf Coast in the Women's Division 1 Grand Final this Saturday at the Bannockburn Sports Precinct. We will be catching up with Surf Coast coach Steve Christou later on tonight. In the Men's Division 1, it's the season finale sees Golden Plains, first year in the men's Division 1 competition. They are taking on Bell Park, who have been in the last 3 grand finals. This will be their 4th grand final on the trot. We'll be speaking to Matt Wharf, one of the co-coaches from Golden Plains, and we'll also be catching up with both co-coaches of Bell Park, Angelo Loricella and Rocky Caruso. That's coming up a little bit later on, but let's have a look now at the weekend's results just gone by. First of all, the Women's Division 1, in the first semi-final, as we saw from Lucas's news report there, after extra time, Barwon defeated Deakin Ducks 2-1. Surf Coast defeated Lara United 2-1 in regulation time. This weekend, this Saturday, in fact, at Bannockburn Recreation Precinct at 3 p.m, Barwon will take on Surf Coast in the Women's Division 1 Grand Final. Prior to that, Corio Bay will take on Armstrong United in the Division 2 Grand Final after Corio Bay disposed of Golden Plains 5-4 on penalties after scores were locked at 0-0. And Armstrong United defeated FC Leopold 1-0. So that is going to be a mouth-watering Division 2 Grand Final. In Men's Division 1, Golden Plains defeated Barwon 2-0. Bell Park easily defeated Surf Coast 6-2. And come 6 p.m. this Sunday night at Hume Reserve, Bell Park will do battle with Golden Plains under lights. Should be an absolute fantastic game, that one. In Division 2, kicking off at 3:30 p.m, Corio Bay will take on Geelong Rangers. Corio Bay defeated Deakin Ducks 1-0, while the Rangers defeated Drysdale 3-1. And then to start the day, the Men's Division 3 Grand Final kicking off at 1 p.m. at Hume Reserve on Sunday. Lara United taking on the Bellarine Sharks after Lara United defeated Barwon 2-1, and Bellarine Sharks defeated Surf Coast 3-1. Yeah, fantastic footage there. If you haven't fantastic footage by Lucas Conti, including that Rangers goal, that diving header. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll be speaking to the first of our grand final coaches. We'll be looking at the Women's Division 1 first, and then we'll be looking at the Men's Division 1 after that. Ladies before gentlemen is our motto. You are watching the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And now, before we do go to a quick ad break, speaking of advertisements and speaking of sponsors, a big shout out to our major sponsor, the Gordon, for all their support, all their backing this year. Curva Coaching, Just Turfing, Instant Turf, and Geelong Galvanising are our business advertising sponsors today. And Curva Coaching and Just Turfing, Instant Turf have been through with us all season. They are our major business advertising sponsors. To all of our sponsors, thank you so, so much.
So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
You are watching the very special Grand Final preview edition of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. And all roads lead to Bannockburn Recreation Precinct this Saturday for the Geelong Region Women's Division 1 and Division 2 Grand Finals. And we're speaking to one of the coaches of the Grand Final participants, and it's the Barwon Soccer Club. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Ivan Kovachev to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Ivan, good evening. How are you?
Good, thanks, Tonchi. Thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure, mate. First of all, congratulations on getting through to the grand final. Big game awaits on Saturday against Surf Coast. Should be a fantastic one. Let's have a look at the head-to-head tussles so far this year. You've played them twice, once at home and once at away. Now, the interesting thing is, you won away, but they won away from home as well. In other words, you lost at home. First game was a 2-1 win at Banyulwarri, and then the second one was a 1-0 loss at Grovedale Reserve. Yep. So you obviously it's a good little rivalry you've got going with the Coasters.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, those two games we were actually quite depleted. I wasn't actually involved in those two games. I was.
That's why they lost.
So this will be the first time that I actually coached to get to coach against them.
Yeah.
I believe the first game, my assistant Steve Collar, who you probably know,
yes,
he did an amazing job to get the win over at Banyulwarri. I think we only had about 10 available players from our team. We had to borrow players from the Div 2 players.
Yeah.
And when we played them at our ground, we were even more depleted. I think we only had 8 players available. So to only go down 1-0, I think the squad did really well. Yeah, it shows the depth of the teams that we've got. Yeah.
Now it's quite a new look team, and you're new to the club because originally it was going to be a case of you're going to be at Geelong Rangers coaching the State League's women's side, but unfortunately that fell apart. So a lot of the girls went to Barwon, you included as well.
Yep.
How did you find the initial, I guess, the grading stage at the start of the year? That would have come in very handy because it was a chance to mould the team and I guess for the team to sort of really become a team, didn't it?
Yep.
How was it? How were those initial few weeks and months. Was it easy? Was it hard for them to gel?
No, it was quite easy because they're all quality players. I'm blessed that I've got pretty much I've got 15, 16 players that are all comparable in ability, and and when I remember going there pretty much the day after we told Rangers that we weren't going to have enough players for a team. We watched their training session, which was looked after by one of the senior men coaches in Jerry, and I was quite impressed with what I saw. And then when we played the grading games, I saw straight away that there's a fair bit of quality there and a lot of experience. Like they've come from, I don't know how they managed to get them all together, but there's girls from NPL. They played junior NPL in Melbourne, and I think they're all moved down to that side of Geelong and Torquay, and they just managed to get them all together.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's some of the players there. Mia McCoach Cripps. She scored 16 goals, and Cameron Brown, who was one of the goal scorers against Surf Coast at Banyul Warri, she's also scored 8 goals. So there's a lot of goals. There's a lot of firepower there, but obviously it's just not the two there that have resulted in a grand final appearance. There's other players. Which part or which sector of the field has really impressed you this year?
It's really been an all-team effort. I'd like to say my midfield is very, very good, but yesterday was the first time that we've had the three of them together since round 4.
Mm-hmm.
So we had
who are those three players?
Taylor Kalchich, Joy Im, and Ashley Pickett.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ashley's just come back from a 2-month holiday and literally got off the plane the day before and played 120 minutes yesterday.
No way.
She was absolutely exhausted.
Yeah.
She did an amazing job. And Joy's just come back from an ankle injury, and Taylor went over to Croatia and Turkey and stuff for a few weeks during the middle of the year. I had a few girls go away on holidays on me, and but to have those three back together in the middle, it really made a difference yesterday. And
they've certainly timed it well, haven't they? Just in time for the finals, they've all got back together. Yeah. And how are you going to approach the grand final this week? I mean, big game against Surf Coast. They're a tough side, a very ambitious side. We had last week we had Brett King on the show, and he talked about possibly next year having 3 senior women's teams and possibly having one of them move to state league. So it's a very ambitious club, very ambitious team. How are you going to approach this on the training track this week coming?
Oh, look, I think because we train Monday and Wednesday, I think tomorrow night will be a very light session. I think they're totally exhausted. They gave 100% yesterday, probably the best game they've played in well over a month. I think we'll ramp it up on Wednesday. Again, we base our play on a lot of possession and working the ball from defence to forward. We have very good defenders led by our captain, Eliza Sharkey. And the wingers are amazing, like Asabi on the left and Charlie on the right, Charlie Hogan. They play so well. Asabi's been probably one of the most consistent players all year and has been scoring goals. I've had Mia McCroach Cripps out of late with an injury. She broke a bone, went skiing, of course.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so she's been heavily missed. But when you said before that, she scored 16 goals, I think that was only in a 5 or 6 week period as well.
Wow.
So
there's no chance she'll be back in time for the grand final? Or?
Watch this space.
Okay, excellent.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of Asabi Cummins, she scored both the goals against Deakin on the weekend after extra time, mind you. And that would have been a tough game as well. Like Deakin, another team that's very experienced, and they've got some match winners. That was a really tough game, and to go after extra time as well.
Oh, look, Deakin are a quality side. They have been together for such a long time. If you look at the names on that list, you can go back 5 years, it'll be the same names on the list. I recall some of those names even when I was coaching local league prior to Rangers and Lara, when I was at Cardinia in National College. And, you still got the likes of Hannah Gordon running around causing chaos up there up front. But they are like a more they've got a lot of experience in their squad. And we knew it was going to be a tough game, but we just stuck to our guns. And I said, we need to dominate possession. We need to put that second effort in, win that ball back, close them down quickly. And they did everything we asked them to do. It was a pleasure to watch, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Ivan, you mentioned you coached at Rangers, you coached at Lara United as well. So you've been heavily involved in the state league women's setup in the last few years. So coming to the Geelong Region League, were you pleasantly surprised with the quality of some of the players? I mean, the top four, Surf Coast, Deakin, Barwon and Lara, are all very, very good squads, very good teams.
Oh, there is so much talent running around in Geelong. I look at every team that we've played against. You know, if they were playing state league, they would not look out of place at all. You know, but obviously, you know, some are happy to just play local, and I totally understand that. But you know, if they ever turned around and said we'd like to go and play in Melbourne, I would say absolutely agree with them and happy to do it. But if they want to play local, then that's fine as well. So
that's fine. Now that's awesome, mate. We're looking forward to Saturday afternoon at Bannockburn Recreation Precinct. 3 p.m. is the kickoff time. Big game against Surf Coast. We wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast.
My pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.
Good on you. Ivan Kovachev, the head coach of the Barwon Soccer Club senior women's team. We're going to take a break, and when we return, we'll be speaking to his counterpart from Surf Coast, Steve Christou, former president of the Surf Coast Football Club, and he now is the head coach of the senior women's team, the other team in the combatants of the Division 1 Senior Women's Grand Final this Saturday. Don't go away, folks. Just Turfing Instant Turf is a local, family-owned and operated company which guarantees top-quality products and service. Whether you need turf for a small front garden or a large landscaping project, Just Turfing Instant Turf are the turf installer experts you can trust. They supply and install for most major landscapers in Melbourne and Geelong, with a wide range of premium instant turf and a full suite of turf care products. Chloe and the team at Just Turfing are sure to have all your turf needs covered. Their Melbourne, Geelong and Victorian regional distribution means they can supply your area with fresh cut turf installed the same day, hassle-free. Turf options that are available include Eureka Kikuyu, Santa Ana, Tiff Tuff, Sir Walter Buffalo and Sir Grange. For more information, contact either Chloe on 0431 571 558 or Josh on 0457 174 111. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and we heard from Barwon coach Ivan Kovachev just then. Well, now we're going to hear from the other team from Surf Coast, and the coach of Surf Coast, who is a welcome visitor to this show, who's joined us on several occasions in the past. He's also the past president of Surf Coast, a man, a jack of all trades, or should we say a Steve of all trades. Steve Christou joins us. Good evening, Steve. And first of all, congratulations on getting the girls to the grand final.
Yeah, good to be here, Tonch, and thanks for having me. Yeah, it's great to be there, obviously, this weekend coming up, so awesome.
Now, we heard from Brett King was on the show last week. Lots of ambition at the club, lots of big plans. He even mentioned possibly the aim is to have 3 senior women's teams next year. But before that happens, mate, let's talk about the immediate future. Well, let's talk about this Saturday at Bannockburn. A big game, the grand final against Barwon. What are you expecting from this game? Because you've had a topsy-turvy season with Barwon, 1 win, 1 loss, and both those wins have come on the opposing team's ground, isn't it? So it just makes up for a very, very exciting season finale.
Probably that's exactly what it is. It is exciting, and I think both teams are very evenly matched. To be honest with you, the first game we were pretty stiff to go down. We played a good competitive game between the two of us and copped a goal in the last few. And the game at their ground, they've had a fair few outs over the last few weeks. So they've got them all back and we'll be looking forward to a real tough game this weekend. So we'll be up for it as well.
Yeah, now we've got some footage now of the game that was played over the weekend against Lara United. Now, speak about tough games. This was also a tough game against Steve DeCunto's team, but in the end, it prevailed 2-1. Tell us about the game.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, and just before we get into that, I just want to say massive shout out to Steve and all the other ships. But yeah, it was a game that we started pretty strongly, and to be honest with you, both games we've played them this year, we've gone 2 goals up, and we expect no different from Lara. They come back pretty hard at us through the second half, and our girls really stood up, and yeah, played really well, and happy with the performance overall. So tough game, but yeah, well deserved to get through to the grand final.
Yeah, now, I mean, if we have a look at the season just gone by, Steve, that top 4 in particular, yourselves, Deakin, Ducks, Barwon and Lara, are very, very, qualitatively speaking, a very, very good top 4. Would you say that this year's Geelong Region Women's Division 1 competition was one of the highest in standards in recent years, at least as far as that top 4 is concerned?
Yeah, and I'd also include the other teams as well in there. Like we probably had one game that was a bit of a blowout, but in general, they were still tough games. But when it comes to top 4, just in general, it's improved immensely. And I think we've seen there's a lot of girls that are still continue to play, whether they've been at Galaxy or come through juniors and whatever else. They continue to play at the senior level. So I think, without a doubt, I think the quality of football is fantastic compared to not where it has been, but it's getting better and better each year. So definitely.
And as far as your own club is concerned, I mean, the club entered 3 teams in the CPL this year, the Community Premier League, under 13s, under 15s, and under 17s, and that obviously means there's going to be a flow-on effect in years to come. Some really, really good quality youngsters becoming senior footballers. The future certainly looks really, really bright for Surf Coast Senior Women's Team.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think, to be fair, we sort of had a setback a few years ago, I think, with the creation of Galaxy. Obviously, our club was integral to that, and it took a bit of time. You know, Mark Wyeth did a great job winning a title, winning our first Geelong title from that point of view. I think we've won one with WVSA back in the day, but the step up again this year with the CPL girls, we set a goal to have 2 teams last year. We did that. So obviously with the CPL program, and not just the CPL program, there's juniors that are still coming through this. It's great that we're getting the numbers. We had 36 registered players this year in our senior women. So yeah, we look forward to the CPL, program, and even other girls coming from our local program, to stepping forward, and hopefully we'll get more and more numbers, and that, yeah, it's a great time for the club. And I think we're talking to Brett this morning. We've got 277 female players, which is a massive achievement for the club. So yeah, the future looks bright for our club.
Well, I can't remember what the statistic was last week. I think, did he say Surf Coast is the 6th biggest club or something like that, or the 4th biggest outside of the NPL or something like that? Whatever it is, it's a staggering figure. But, I mean, the senior men's obviously enjoyed a tremendous success moving up to State 2 next year as well. At the moment, there must, and you, look, being past president, you're heavily involved in all aspects of the club. It must be a really positive time at the moment at Banyule Warrior Reserve, from the top to the bottom, so to speak.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a high. We're on a bit of a high just in general as a club, and I think anyone you talk to that comes down to the club or plays at the club always talks about the community feel. And I think you had footage of it last week, and how many kids get amongst it. We are on a high in general, with numbers and whatever else, and obviously with the Curva program, I've got to mention Ado as well. He does a great job, and yeah, it's just a real buzz around the club at the moment. And obviously with the senior men doing what they've done, great achievement for back to back. from that point of view. But yeah, across the board, mini roos. Yeah, we've got great committee. Brett obviously does a great job with the committee coordinators. The structures are good, and there's a lot of people that put a lot of work into that. That you know, you make sure that they know that they've done a great job from that point of view as
Yeah,
well.
now, I mean, I know coaches are always going to say, oh, it's a grand final, but we're going to approach it as it's any other game. But it's not any other game. It's guaranteed to be a massive, massive attendance, massive crowd, the atmosphere, and obviously the buzz around it. But how are you going to approach this week's grand final as far as the training track is concerned?
I was going to say we probably won't change it up too much, but we probably we'll have a fun night tonight. So we trade Monday, Wednesdays. We're going to have a bit of a lighter night tonight. The few girls were sore from the previous Lara game, and so we'll have a fun night tonight, and then we'll go pretty hard on Wednesday, and just work on probably a lot of teams doing, just staying positive and bringing that positivity into the weekend.
There's the details. Obviously, the weekend's results that were had, but there's also the grand final to look forward to this Saturday at the Bannockburn Recreation Precinct at 3 p.m. And great facilities there, isn't it? The pitch there is absolutely superb, isn't it?
Yeah, ironically, I told the girls were a bit like Bannockburn, we've got to go out that way, and I told them the pitch will be good, and it was good. So credit to the guys out there; they've done a great job. It is great facilities, even though it's a bit out of the way from our point of view. You'd rather play on a park that's good for football, and they've done a great job out there. Definitely.
No, it's certainly something to look forward to. Is there going to be anything before leading up to that? You might have a movie night with Rocky or anything like that to get them really up, or a little bit of team bonding, or you're just going to leave it to the training track, have a bit of fun, avoid any injuries, and psych yourself up for what comes on Saturday.
If you were to see our training sessions, Tonchi, they're actually fun the whole time. So I think we don't necessarily need to do a lot out of off the park, because it all happens on the park. At training, it's fun. It's something that we spoke about as a group, and I'm a real advocate for, if you have fun on the park, off the park, all that, you have fun on the park, the better the results will be from that point of view. You enjoy your football. So I think we'll just keep it fun, keep working hard, and we'll just I think we've got to enjoy the week as well. The girls obviously winning the minor premiership meant a lot to us as well. We enjoyed that, and we said we have to move on from that and try and get the job done this weekend. So
Fantastic. And what about yourself, mate? Are you looking forward to putting on the coach's clipboard and pen and all of that for next year, or are you kind of just taking it one step at a time?
Okay, I will. The girls asked me that the other week, or a couple of weeks ago, and I was not umming and ahhing, but I think they're a great bunch of girls, and I said that to you, through the week last week, that they are a great bunch of girls, and we actually enjoy each other's company, and I'll be going around again next year and look forward to it as well. Yeah,
and certainly if there's going to be 3 senior teams and a lot more, I guess, depth as well. Plus, who knows where it's going to take you guys. But in the meantime,
just on that, can I just say also a massive thanks to, because we obviously have a few people that are involved. It's just not just myself, but
definitely.
Mel's my assistant. She also plays as well. There's Sammy as well, and also Zoe takes the Div 2 girls with us as well. So there's a number of coaches that are involved in the process as well.
Yeah, and while we're at it, as far as the team itself, what about on field? Do you have any particular leaders there that sort of kind of form a bit of a leadership group that look after maybe some of the younger players? Just generally, as far as the squad is concerned, you've mentioned some of the coaches there, but who else do you kind of rely on as far as on-field leadership?
We've got a leadership group. We've got 2 captains. Elsa and Kayla are our joint captains, and they're joint captains for a reason, because they are leaders on and off the park. And I think there is a leadership group, but we actually put more girls into the leadership group. It's probably about half a dozen of them, because they give so much, and that's the best probably thing about our team is those leaders on and off the park. There's a number of them, and they're always trying to help the younger girls, push them along and stuff like that. So there's a number of them. I don't want to single out anyone, but there is a number of girls that really drive these girls and push them along and support them in every different aspect of the game and obviously in life in general as well. So
Yeah, fantastic. Well, the common denominator there at Banyawari Reserve, it seems, is having fun, and I'm sure you guys will have fun this Saturday at the Bannockburn Recreation Precinct, especially if you end up winning. But standing in the way is Barwon Soccer Club. Should be an absolute fantastic season finale. We're looking forward to it. I'm sure you are. Steve, thank you once again for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, and all the very best for Saturday.
thanks, Tonch, and obviously thanks for what you do for the community as well.
Appreciate it.
It's great. Appreciate it, mate.
Good on you. Thank you. Steve Christou, he's the coach of the Surf Coast Senior Women's Team. They'll be in action this Saturday at Bannockburn Recreation Precinct. Folks, if you're not doing anything this Saturday, pop up to Bannockburn, 3 p.m. kickoff, and obviously the Division 2 game before that as well. That's at, I think, 12:30 p.m. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to continue with tonight's episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Proudly brought to you by our major sponsor, The Gordon. Geelong Galvanising is a locally owned and operated company that is a leading provider of protective steel applications, including hot dip galvanising, steel fabrication, painting, duplex coatings, and transport logistics. With a commitment to quality and efficiency, we deliver durable, high-performance solutions tailored to the needs of our clients across various industries. Our key capabilities include blast and paint, galvanising, fabrication, accreditations and inspection services, transport and logistics. We offer end-to-end services from fabrication right through to delivery. For more information about what we can offer you, contact us on 5275 7555. Visit our website at www.geelonggal.com.au or pop in and see us at our factory at 360 Bacchus Marsh Road, Corio. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, our very, very special Geelong Region Grand Final Preview edition. This week, in the men's Division 1, we've got one team that was there last year, Bell Park, and we've also got a newbie to the league, a team that has for the first year played in Division 1, and immediately they've earned a spot at the big dance. And we're talking about Golden Plains Soccer Club, and to tell us all about it, one of their co-coaches, Matt Ward, joins us. Matt, good evening and welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Thanks, Donchy. Thanks for having us. No worries.
Well, first of all, congratulations. Great effort. Yourself and your son, Jack, co-coach Golden Plains, and the Eagles this year, after getting into the Division 1 competition, have made it all the way through to the grand final. How'd you see the first year in the elite division?
Look, it was definitely a learning curve for us, especially around trying to manage, get enough players on the pitch. We fielded two teams, one in Division 3 and one in Division 1, and we had a total squad of about 28 players. And there were games throughout the year where, people were driving at halftime from one Division 3 game to come and sit on the bench. A couple of games we finished with no subs. So, yeah, just man management and player management was pretty difficult. So, yeah, it just shows you to field two teams. But we got there in the end. Div 3 team just missed out on finals. They had a pretty successful year as well, but just missed out.
Yeah. Now, were you expecting, like at the start of the year when pre-season, all of a sudden you've got this influx of players, you're going to enter another team? Did you think entering Division 1 you were going to do as well as you did?
Probably not. We've got some pretty good players, like in terms of talent, like from when they played juniors. But some of the players haven't played for 5 years. Right. So we got a group of players. There's a couple of players from Jack's under-18 Rangers team that he coached, and then there's some players that obviously came out of North Geelong and Rangers seniors. But some of them haven't played competitive football for 5 years. So at the time, when you look at the names, you think, yeah, okay, we've got some pretty talented players or kids that were talented, but yeah, probably didn't think we'd make the grand final, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's some good players in this division.
Some of those guys that hadn't played for such a long time, what enticed them to come back? And more specifically, what enticed them to go to Golden Plains?
just relationships with kids from school and from soccer. So Max, my son, played there last year with me in Div 3. And so did Timsy and Lockie V. I think people come and watched and they saw that it was enjoyable. There's no financial enticement, put it that way. We're very we're very lucky to that the club supported us. I had to go and get a mate to sponsor the jumpers, who come to the party from an investment firm up in Melbourne. I think it was just to get together and try and have some fun. A lot of these guys went to Cardinia College together, or they played football together at North or Rangers. So, and then we've got a few players that are local boys as well that have come through. I suppose the relics of the state league team, the reserves and the senior team, and there's a couple of players that played in that era that are on the list as well. I think I got one player that hasn't played for 8 years. So he's done really well.
Yep. Yeah, and just for those that don't know, the Golden Plains did have a team in the Men's State League 4 competition going back quite a few years back, and it was doing quite well. But unfortunately, for various reasons, players' retention, drop off, and whatnot, had to pull the pin. But it hasn't had a senior men's team for a few years now. But up until last year, I think was the first year. Is that right? That the club resuscitated its senior men's component.
Yeah, that was a last minute thing. My mate Brian was around for lunch and he said, "Hey, do you want to come and play soccer?" He actually asked me to play. They were that desperate. And I said, "Look, I'll give it a go in the goals," and tore my hamstring at the first training session. So that was out. And they said, "Well, can you help coach?" And I rang my son and said, "Look, can you play a few games and get a couple of mates and play a few games?" And yeah, that was the start of it last year, which was a really fun year. We finished on the bottom, but we had a great time. I think they just wanted some more success. But yeah, the state league team was successful. I remember some players like Yasko and alike were out there at one stage. They were in either Div 4 or Div 5. I think it was just after COVID, Tonchi, that they folded. It's new to the club. The women's teams have been pretty successful as well in Div 2. It got knocked out on penalties on the weekend. There's a junior team in the grand final on Saturday, under 13 girls. We're making inroads. We got no intention of going into state league anytime soon or anything like that. This is we train once a week, for an hour and a half, and it's a bit of fun, as I said, with the guys.
Yeah, no, I had the pleasure of going out there midway through the season and interviewing the president, the vice president, and it's a great club, fantastic setup. Facilities are absolutely fantastic, and we saw that on the weekend. We in the women's games because the women's finals are being staged there, so absolutely fantastic. But here are some photos from the weekend game just gone by, a 2-0 win over Barwon. How did that all go? Obviously, great result, fantastic result. How did it all go from your point of view as a co-coach?
Yeah, the first half, there was a bit of a fair breeze on the weekend, on Sunday anyway. So the first half, we were sort of playing into the breeze. We defended pretty well. Like structurally, we were able to step up. We were able to shuffle across and make sure that we were, cutting down passing lanes and things like that. Barwon they're a good team. They went through undefeated, right? And they won the premiership. I thought once we went in at half time and it was 0-0, with a few of the younger guys in the team, I thought we should be able to get a result down to endeavour and willingness, and the guys really stepped up. In all honesty, I think it's probably the most even game we've played in terms of every single player contributed.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, this weekend, big game against Bell Park. Very, very experienced. They've been there last year. They were in the final, lost to Armstrong United, 1-0, I think, in the final. They won the year before that. So they're very, very experienced. They've enjoyed some great success over the last few years. They'd obviously, and especially winning on the weekend, you'd have to think they're the favourites. Does the underdog tag sit well with you, or you kind of think, no, it's not deserved, or you don't mind that?
Yeah, look, I think it sits fine in terms of the underdog tag. Bell Park's obviously got, history in terms of this competition, Div 1. From our perspective, every player that was there at the start of the year is there at the end of the year. So, we don't have the the luxury of having players come in near the end of the season. So I think, looking at Bell Park on the weekend, the guys that play us were in that team. Alex Smith's a fantastic player. Xander, I think, scored a hat-trick. The other Alex was thereabouts. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. When we played them the first game, we got a 1-0 win, but in all honesty, the first 15 minutes they had us penned back. They were probably unlucky. They missed a couple of shots. Second game, I was actually overseas in Bangkok on holidays, a 2-2 draw at their ground. So, yeah, we've held our own against them. They've got some real talent in that team. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. But I think if we apply ourselves, play our best football, I think we can get a result.
Well, when you put it that way, you've beaten them once and drawn the other time. You've got the wood on them, so maybe they are the actual underdogs going into. But either way, it should be a very, very close contest because finishing on the ladder, there was just a couple of points, 3 points the difference between at the end of the day. And it really was a very good top four, wasn't it? Barwon, Surf Coast, Bell Park, and yourselves. It was quite a quality top four this year, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Surf Coast, we beat once. They beat us in the Barwon actually beat us twice during the year. The couple of teams that were fighting for top four, like Armstrong was, pretty solid. They took points off us both times, drew with us twice. So, yeah, it was definitely a tough year, but a quality top four.
Yeah, absolutely. Top quality, that's for sure. Well, I'm sure that on Sunday, 6 p.m. at Hume Reserve, it's going to be a top quality encounter, the season finale. Wishing you all the very best. And once again, mate, congratulations to you and your son, Jack, on doing a ripper job. I mean, at the end of the day, just to get into the grand final in your first attempt in the elite division of the local competition is a fair effort. So pat yourselves on the back. But I guess the job's only half done, so we wish you all the best on Sunday night.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Tonchi.
Good on you. Matt Waugh, along with his son, Jack, they are the co-coaches of the Golden Plains senior men's team. They'll be in action this Sunday night at Hume Reserve against Bell Park. We're going to be speaking to the Bell Park coaches, his counterparts, straight after this short break. Don't go away. You are watching the grand final preview edition of the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
And welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, our special grand final edition or special pre-grand final edition of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We've spoken to Matt Waugh from Golden Plains, and they're the new kids on the block, so to speak. But our coaches from the following team, well, they're the old kids. They've been in the last 3 grand finals. Lost 3 years ago, won 2 years ago, lost last year. Well, judging by that means they're going to win this weekend. Their 4th grand final in 4 years in the Geelong Region Men's Division 1 competition. And it's a big welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show to Angelo and Rocky from Bell Park. How are you, gents?
Yeah, good, Tom. How are you going?
How are you?
If I was a betting man, fellas, loss, win, loss, win. That's how the form guide says. So it's bound to be a win on the weekend. Do you consider yourselves a bit of favourites with Golden Plains having the first year in the competition, or do you sort of consider yourself it's going to be a fairly even game? Rocky, first to you.
Yeah, look, I feel pretty confident going in, to be honest. Obviously, like you mentioned before, we've been 3 grand finals, so we've got a bit of experience with grand finals now. And then, look, Golden Plains, they've definitely been a good side this year. But, I think the way we've sort of just peaked at the moment and all the players just perfect timing coming back as well, I think I think we're going in very, very strong and confident.
Angelo, what about you? What do you think? Because supposedly Golden Plains have defeated you once and it's been a draw on the other occasion. So I suppose based on that, they've got the wood on you.
I can see your logic there, but during the year we had a very challenging year for us in terms of injuries and sickness and people away on holidays and bits and pieces. So we really didn't have an accurate squad to reflect on those performances, if that makes sense. We've now got players coming back, as Rock said. So, for us, it's a different dynamic in terms of our squad. And it's just been a perfect time for us in that back end of the season. No doubt that, Golden Plains are a very talented, experienced, set of players, and obviously have challenged us through the year. And, we look forward to that challenge again on Sunday.
Yeah, Rocky, on the weekend, 6-2 win rather over Surf Coast. A young Xander Milanovic scoring a hat trick, Alex Smith 2, and Shiva Kanapathy also scoring 1. Was it sort of as easy as you thought it'd be, or did the boys just fire up on the day?
Well, look, the boys did fire up 100%, but I thought going in, that was our first probably game coming in with all our strength, like teams.
Yeah.
And we've still got, actually this week's and probably this year is the first time we actually got to try to select and see who's going to be left out. That's going to be because everyone's back, and they're fit, they're ready, and like I said, we were really we felt confident going into that game, and we just said to the boys basically that when first 15 minutes. We'll just go for it. And we just knew from the first 5 minutes, really, it was on. And it probably shows our full strength team, especially we probably should have easily scored another couple of goals in that game. So
such was the dominance. There you go. Now, Angelo, it's the boys know what to expect. A big crowd, under lights. It's always an electric atmosphere. And the last few grand finals have been a Hume Reserve. How hard is it to sort of contain that excitement and just to get them focused on the job? Are you approaching the grand final this week any differently than you would, say, a normal game?
I think you do in some respects. That it is a grand final. It's not a home and away season game. But look, the boys are. We've got some experienced guys in there. That have been through finals and grand finals in the past. They know what to expect. We've discussed, certain things so far with the boys in preparation for next week, but, we'll work with them during the week in terms of training and what we expect from the boys. But look, I think our boys are ready to go on Sunday. We've had experience under lights, throughout the season with the Friday night games that we've had and good crowds attending those games, so they'll be ready. And as Rob said, this is probably the best week for us in terms of availability of squad people. So we're going to have a bit of a tough job this week in terms of selecting the final 17.
Yeah, Rocky, how do you see the competition this year? I mean, you guys are, as I said, experienced. You've been in the last 3 grand finals. This year's standard of competition in Division 1, any different to the last few years, or has it been better, worse?
No, look, I think it's always been the same. It seems to be always the top 4 that always sort of sit around the area. Obviously Armstrong as well. They probably didn't have as good a season as they normally would, but that's sort of the teams that are just sitting around the Div 1 at the moment, and I can't see some of the other teams, you know, obviously getting their strength of some sort until they probably pick up some more experienced players and grow to because the competition is like, you know, when you're playing up the top couple of teams, you know, it's up there for, you know, like sort of that lower state league division, you know. So I find that we definitely we've been pretty lucky that we've kept all our players and new players, and we're just finding that new players actually wanting to come to the club and play with us. So.
Yeah. Angela, I mean, if you look outside the top four, so the top four, Barwon, Surf Coast, yourselves, and Golden Plains, quite a formidable top four. But outside of that, as Rocky said, look, it's quite a top quality competition. Armstrong United, their first team, FC Leopold, their first team, Deakin University, their first team as far as the local competition. And a new team this year, Colac Otway Rovers, who are coached by a former Bell Park legend, Eddie Doris. Let's talk about that, actually. Look, credit to the guys, 16 games, 16 losses, but they never seem to give up. And it's just great to have that breath of fresh air in the elite division, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It was a different dynamic in having a different team from a different location in the competition. It was actually quite rewarding, and the boys had a lot of fun with that. And we in our group chats had some fun about us playing in Colac. We actually really enjoyed the trip down there. So it does add a different dynamic and a different layer to the competition, which I think is good for the region. Talk about Colac. I know they had their 16 losses, but they turned up every week, and they certainly did put challenges on. Certainly when we played them at their home ground, there was some challenges there. So they'll only get better as the seasons continue on.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you there, and I certainly hope they don't feel disheartened. I hope to see that they are not relegated, rather that they are staying in that competition. And Rocky, over to you. Like the gradings, it was much maligned. There was lots of talk about the gradings pre-season, but in the end, it seems to have worked. What it should have worked was, in other words, getting a kind of an equal competition. Yep. Going forward, though, is that the solution for next year, or should there just simply be promotion relegation?
I think the grading to a certain extent does help, but I still see that if you're in Division 2 and you're at the top of the title, obviously you're going to be playing finals as well.
Yeah.
I personally reckon that top team should be going up no matter what. Obviously, next year, if they don't go as well, they get relegated again. It's simple. Because you're going to get to a point where, you look at us, we only had 8 teams. Division 2 had something like 14, and Division 3, I think 16 or something like that. So you want it to sort of equal out. I'm not saying to have that, but at least another 2 teams in the Div 1 would be great, it'd make the competition a lot different as well.
Yeah, 12 teams in Div 2 and 13 in Division 3, when at one stage I think there may have been 14 and then one team pulled out. So, you're absolutely right. It just seems to be a very kind of a lopsided competition in the structure.
Can I just add to that? I sort of felt that at the start of the season, those 3 grading games were really practice matches more than grading games. I can sort of see where Football Victoria is trying to go, but I think they're going to have to sort of put a little bit more thought into the grading games if that's how they're going to go about it for future years. I actually agree with Rocky. I think that there should be a relegation promotion into the divisions.
And use the grading in some sort, to help maybe 1 or 2 teams.
Maybe pre-season, because as it is, I mean, it's an 18-week season, so to speak, home and away. You take away 3-4 weeks of grading and you've only got a 14-round season. I think people say that's the worst thing, is it's such a short season and really there's no room for error, or if you've got a couple of players out on holiday or injury or this or that, 1 or 2 games can mean the difference between you finishing in the top 4 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, turning our attention to this weekend, first of all, Rocky, over to you, and then to Angela. Where do you think Bell Park will defeat Golden Plains? Where across the park do you think your strength lies?
Look, I think, it's hard because our strength at the moment going in this week is strong everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Our defensive is fantastic. Our midfield's on the ball or on the time, and I think our upfront strikers, we've got Xander, but we've also got in the mix with Alec and a few others, Losper, and a few there's a heap of mix that we, like I said, coming in. We've got two that were away this weekend, and they're coming back, and they've played all season, but it just happened to be they were away this weekend, and they're pretty elite up front as well. So, like as Ange said, it's going to be a really tough selection this week to see who's going to miss out and who's going to get in. But I think across the park, we're going to be strong everywhere.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few heads and tails, coins, flicks, and we'll see who's going to happen. But Ange, on the flip side, where do you think a Golden Plains can be defeated or can be overcome? So what's probably, without giving away too much information and team strategy, where do you think you probably could most likely overcome Golden Plains? Is it somewhere on the field, or is it off the field? Is it experience? Is it one element of the game?
I think for us it's just business as usual. We just play our game. We stick to our strategies, our game plans, as we have been going throughout this whole season. We have a very clear message and a clear vision to the boys in terms of what we expect and what they expect from the group. I think that's really, for us, is really going to be the message, this week.
Yeah, there's all the details there. This Sunday, 21st of September at Hume Reserve. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. Bell Park taking on Golden Plains. Gents, it should be an absolutely fantastic game. Hopefully, tonight it's quite windy. Hopefully, the wind dies down by Sunday, and there's a fantastic spectacle, and the weather's fantastic. Crowd's big. What a way to finish the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. On that note, good luck, guys, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Good on you. Angelo Loricella and Rocky Caruso from Bell Park Soccer Club. Folks, we're going to take a very short break, and when we return, it'll be time pretty much to wind up tonight's show. Don't go away. And that brings us to the end of episode 25 for the year of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. As we said at the top of the show, we're back next week with the grand final review and our last episode for the year, episode 26, a special bonus episode. Thanks to all of our Patreon members and supporters who support us, who continue to support us. Only $5 a month. Only $5 a month. And it means a lot to us here at the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Folks, until next Monday night, be sure to get out and about and enjoy the grand final, the local league's grand final. Of course, we didn't cover too much of the Division 2 for the women, the Division 2 and 3 for the men. We focused on the elite divisions, so get your team into the Division 1, and we'll focus on that. But we're going to very, very quickly have a look, recap the semi-final results and the grand finals. There we go. Women's Division 1 this Saturday, Barwon versus Surf Coast at 3 p.m. In Division 2, Corio Bay taking on Armstrong United. That game kicking off at 12:30 p.m. The following day at Hume Reserve, Bell Park taking on Golden Plains. The big match kicks off at 6 p.m. And prior to that, the Division 2 grand final between Corio Bay and Geelong Rangers at 3:30 p.m. And then men's Division 3 starts the ball rolling at 1 p.m. on Sunday with the game between Lara United and Ballerine Sharks. Good night, folks. Thank you for being with us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Until next Monday night, good night.